usually every meeting begins with saying it in a wacky voice or an accent of some kind, or whispered like ASMR, or just whatever to just make it silly.
You're referencing like the names that you guys play with, the different studios, rooms have different names. You employees are called, you said ninjas, right?
Actually, the members, the members are all
Members
called
are
ninjas.
ninjas.
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like fun is definitely interjected just in titles and names of things, even you being called the director of possibilities, kind of breaking this typical mold of sales director, client, front desk, whatever those are. But what other ways is the fun interjected? Like what are your team meetings like?
Oh my gosh, hilarious. So we, in the before times, we're meeting every other week in person. Now we do a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff like this. But every meeting includes saying the Mark Fisher Fitness mission statement aloud as a group. And usually every meeting begins with saying it in a wacky voice or an accent of some kind, or whispered like ASMR, or just whatever to just make it silly, to not only reconnect with what our mission statement is and the idea of helping people and helping them unlock their best, selves and their inherent power. And it's more fun to just be silly with it. And it's not only a reminder over and over again of what our mission statement is as a group, but it's one of the silly ways that we take meetings less seriously. We also always have a system of, calling people out when they do really well. We call them glows. So there's emails that go around with when someone does anything that is in line with one of our core values and what they did, and we shout them out. We also do that in our meetings. For a while, when we were in the pandemic, deeply having meetings, even though there was no clubhouse open, and a lot of us were worried. We were even doing silly competitions via Zoom, like who could make the best, weirdest, silly hat out of whatever they could find in their apartment. And that person won a gift card to something for the week and stuff like that. So just always keeping it silly is important.
That's amazing. So a few follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Can you hit us with the mission statement?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone at MFF should be able to.
That's amazing.
Mark Fisher Fitness exists to unlock and amplify each human's inherent power to live their best life.
I love that. And I love that all of your employees could repeat that. That's incredible. And I love this idea of having everyone as a group say it together and bringing that fun into it. Next question. Did you say meetings every other week?
Yeah. Team meetings are we used to have them pretty consistently every other week. There's a placeholder for it every other week on everyone's calendars. And then on Monday, our team leader will let us know we're not going to have the meeting or we are going to have the meeting. And the meetings are usually on Wednesdays.
Wow. Okay. So I've heard a lot of questions, struggles lately with getting teams to show up to meetings. How are you guys getting everyone to show up for a meeting every other week? People are struggling to get people to show up for quarterly meetings.
Yeah, well, we do our best to not have meetings when they're unnecessary. Like I said, if we don't need to have it, we won't. We're told we're not going to have it. And it's a placeholder on everybody's calendar. So you're expected to be there. And then you're told you're not going to have to be there. And then also they're fun. We begin every one of our classes at MFF the same way we begin all of our meetings, with a silly name game. So we'll go around the room and say our names and gender pronouns and answer a wacky question. Like, if you were a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be? Anything under the sun. So again, it's just another way to infuse that fun. And also, with the world being what it is right now, a lot of our team is all over the place. So some people don't even live in New York anymore because we have this online offering, and there are people all over the United States. And so when we have these meetings, it's also an opportunity for us to connect as a team. So that's a part of it as well. We love each other and we want to be around each other, and everybody is sort of distanced right now, especially in this time. So we feel like it's really important to have that regular cadence of just making sure you know what's going on in my department. I know what's going on in your department. We're having fun. We're reconnecting. We get to say hello via Zoom. We always leave the chat box open so people can yuck it up. It's fun.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so simple, but smart to just have, like you said, have it as a placeholder, set that expectation from the very beginning with employees and let it become a habit. Awesome. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I would be a Reuben if I was a sandwich. So
nice.
Send me a Reuben for lunch. I will take it. Side note.
I love that.
So this is, I mean, you guys play these games, you come up with these ideas, you have all these different names. It does sound like a lot of fun, but for you in the management side and for Mark and for Mike, does it get exhausting at all feeling responsible for everyone's fun and coming up with these new ideas?
I don't think so. I mean, at least not for me. And one of the things I do in my department is we try to begin every meeting with just a small clip of a song, and we do like a welcome. I also don't call our team the sales team. I call it the growth squad, because behind it, yes, we're the sales team, but we're in charge of the growth at MFF. So, you know, I always play a little music on my phone, or I let someone else pick a song out and welcome to this week's growth squad meeting, you know, starring Emily and Nathaniel and Mark, you know, it's just fun.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And I just have a tendency to really believe it doesn't need to be serious. It just, meetings don't need to be serious. The information is important, and everyone can be more present when they know it's not going to put them to sleep, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's like probably back from like school age, right? We're taught like, if you're being goofy, you're not learning. And it sounds like it's definitely not that for you guys. Just because you allow your team meetings to be fun and goofy clearly doesn't mean that that information is not being digested by your team.
Yeah, it's also helpful because, as we all know, repetition is the best way to learn anything. So again, even just by every other week saying out loud the MFF mission statement, you know it. And we do role plays and we do situations, you know, we talk about customer service experiences and go over what our values are and stuff like that in these meetings regularly. So it's hard to forget. We've even made a fun sentence out of our values. So we have 6 main values, and we have a sentence that makes up what they are.
Hit us.
The sentence is, I can get stronger every fucking day.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, perfect.
Yep. And it stands for inclusiveness, candor, growth, service, excellence, and fun.
Oh, that's so brilliant.
So fun is one of our team values.
See, knew we came to the right people.
So we have to live by that, or what are we doing?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. So you mentioned briefly there, talking to your team about client interactions.
Yes.
So how does this fun come down to how you interact with your clients?
Great question. So in our customer service standards, there's including the concept of being weird. So we are very encouraging of using GIFs or GIFs. Sorry for anyone who feels very strongly about one way or the other.
It is very strong.
I'm open to either one. In all of our email communications with all of the ninjas, we get to celebrate our ninjas as well. We have a ninja of the month. We have a program that's called Snatched in 6 weeks. We also have a Snatchator of the week, so just we get this opportunity to celebrate our ninjas. Every interaction with them should be kind, but also always have something weird about it, which is great in how we interact with all of our members, but it also bleeds into my department and the growth squad. So all of our initial reach outs, and once you opt into something, is all super weird and wacky. Like I have a very regular GIF that I text to people that's a unicorn farting rainbows.
Perfect.
Because why not?
Why not? Oh, you said standards. So is there a document that your team members have that lays out the standards for how they interact with clients?
Yeah. So we're big on SOPs around here. We're standard operating procedures are a big thing at MFF. And we have everything concisely in onboarding for any new team member. And it includes really important things that are just basic customer service standards at MFF about, no offense to lawyers, Julian, but one of our standards is like, just use human words. Don't like your email should not sound like it's coming from a law office.
I love that. And I just want to highlight that for everyone, that one of the most fun brands out there, still everything is written down and documented and has a process. Even if there's all this room for play on top of it, it sounds like you guys still have things in black and white, and then you just get to color all over it.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone who's onboarded as a new team member also has a culture meeting with Mark about like what this weirdness is all about. So that not only are you getting the basics of like customer service standards that MFF upholds, but also what this wacky thing is, what our ridiculousness is all about from the source. Because Mark has a direct tap to the unicorn overlords.
I love that. A culture meeting. I love that. Love that. Okay, beautiful. Any other examples that you want to give in like how you guys interject and infuse fun everywhere within the business, like sales, marketing?
Yeah, I mean, for sales and marketing stuff, our brand colors are pretty hot pink. Hello. And we have unicorns and stuff. But also, like I said, I work hard to make sure that all of our communication, especially to someone who is just coming in, who's not a ninja yet, is silly. And all of my texts, all of my emails, I always say to my team that you want it to sound like you're using your own words. I don't even want my team to use exactly what I use. And all of our scripts that we have and, for calls and for sales conversations, I've written everything out. But then when I do drills with my team, I talk to them about what they want to say. What makes this sound like you? There are parts I want you to say that are very specific, but I want it to come out authentically. And I don't want it to sound rehearsed, because scripts are important in my line of work, but it needs to sound like it's coming from you and not something I wrote. So I think that's a huge component to that. And that's more fun. You have more fun when you're selling if you're getting to say something that feels right to you and it's not just someone else's words. And then I think it just the gifts are a big thing, and the language and the text that we use. If you're texting your bestie, your bro, like that's what your text should sound like. It doesn't need to sound like salesy.
So I would love for you to provide this example that I heard of a fun marketing, what should we call it, tactic that you guys use, if you don't mind sharing about your unicorn.
Yeah. So, right now we're in a crazy time where it feels like the only way to get leads is digitally. And I'd like to say that's not true. So I got tired of having to rely on people clicking, and I was trying to come up with ideas for things that could be fun for us, good for the neighborhood, all that stuff. So obviously we do all sorts of joint ventures and stuff like that with local partnerships. But one of the things my team and I do is on Saturdays, or whenever there's a flea market in the area or whatever, we will get dressed up in unicorn onesies and carry around a little speaker with some music, and we wear sandwich boards. And there are two of us that go out, and one sandwich board says, if you love working out, talk to me. And the other one says, if you hate working out, talk to me. And there's a QR code on each one. And we basically run around Hell's Kitchen and ask people for their vote. We need your vote. We're battling it out. Whoever wins the battle gets to live, stuff like that. And we just get to be as silly as possible. There's also a component of fun because, like, when you put on a costume, you're sort of not yourself. And so you can be wackier. And it's twofold. One, people do talk to us and we do get leads. If you hate working out, talk to me and I'll give you a free class at MFF so we can try to change your mind. We're weirder. Clearly, I'm standing here in front of you in a unicorn onesie.
Right.
Please scan this QR code and give us your info. Or if you love working out, great. Let us give you a free class at MFF so you can come and try out what we do. That kind of thing, which is great. But also sometimes we're just out in the neighborhood waving at people and people take pictures of us. And our Instagram handle is on the bottom of the thing as well. So even if they don't tag us, it's there in the photo, and it's just an opportunity to kind of guerrilla market and get out there and have our brand seen. And if we go out regularly enough, there are people in the area who have brunch regularly in the area and they see us every Saturday or every other Saturday or once a month even. And they're like, what are these unicorns walking down Ninth Avenue? What is happening? So it might be a couple of times before we get that person in, but still it's implanted in their brain in a weird way.
Right. Because it's weird and it's funny and it's fun and it's memorable. So I'm sure even if they don't see you for 3 weeks or something, if they do finally ever like, I need to work out. Oh, what was that funny unicorn place?
Yeah, hopefully. But it's also
great.
just fun. And sales especially can feel like drudgery a lot. And a lot of people click and you call them and you never hear back from them, and it can feel daunting and like a bummer a lot. So this is just a fun way to infuse some fun into what we do on a daily basis and get leads in that remember that and have a good experience meeting us on the streets. And it's just something fun for us as well.
That's awesome. And is there any other way that you interject that fun for your sales team? Let's talk specifically. So obviously the tactics you guys are taking, the way that they're able to talk about it, all of that is fun. So do you need to then put any like gamification on it for the team or like any sales goals or incentives to get them always working? Or is it just they're motivated because it's fun to do?
Yeah, I mean, we do keep track of everything, obviously. You should keep track of everything. We have goals, but I don't want to say we don't have quotas. Okay. We have goals, which I think makes a huge difference. It doesn't have a fire under your ass to feel like, oh my God, I have to get this number or I'm terrible at the job. And yeah, we have that glow system where when someone is crushing it, they get called out to the entire team. And, but yeah, I think our mission statement really says it all. We're here to help people. And all of our meetings, the growth squad, we touch on that every time. So I think our team just really wants to be here, really loves being here. I mean, we have really good retention at MFF for employees in general, just across any department, because of all of the stuff that I'm talking about. And it just makes a huge difference to be reminded regularly of why we're in this business and to be reminded regularly to not take ourselves so seriously. I mean, one of our company taglines is ridiculous humans, serious fitness.
I love that.
So, we do take fitness seriously. It's not like you're going to come here and not get a good workout, but we have trainers in costumes a lot. And, I don't know how rated this video is going to be, but sometimes there's trainers that walk around with a giant dildo on a staff,
Don't worry, it's 18 and over here.
It's wacky around here, which might not be your brand, but there's ways to make it more fun without having to be X-rated, R-rated.
Yeah, no, totally. And, it's something actually that we're talking about as well. Like serious doesn't have to mean solemn. Right. And I think that we think that a lot, and it doesn't have to be that. You can inject levity and lightheartedness into something that is still serious.
Yeah. And our trainers have authority. They're all well trained. They know what they're doing. So not only do in our department, we get to be silly and have all the fun and have the connection with people as they're coming in and getting started. And even a lot of the conversations I have with people is more like an orientation. And, we're getting you set up at MFF, and I want to talk to you about your goals and your needs and make sure you have a good time. But then I hand these lovely ninja babies off to our team, and I know they're in safekeeping. The training team here knows exactly what they're doing. And a part of their standards as well is to make connections and have fun and be weird. So again, they get hit from all sides, hit with it from everywhere.
Hey everybody, Jessica LaChance here. Do you want more business education for your fitness studio or wellness business? Subscribe to our YouTube channel or our email newsletters, and we'll see you here soon.